it's arguably single-handedly the most consumed sport, in the U.S. and it really sets the stage for the sporting calendar throughout the rest of the year. Starting in September and then the NFL, rolling into the NBA and the NHL, kicking off in October. It's the largest opportunity for anybody to acquire customers, but then also monetize those customers throughout the rest of the sporting calendar. Yeah, and operators they're presented the opportunity to just blindly spend if they want to, and what's really going to come of that spend? Are they going to acquire a player for bet $1 to win 100 or to win 200, and then that customer goes and continues to bet with their preferred operator? You'll see a lot of these paid media on TV. These commercials between the shields now during these NFL games, but I think a lot of these customers or a lot of patrons that are consuming these games, they're second screen users. So they're going to be, checking their fantasy scores. They're going to be presented with ads. And how do you convert a customer that's going to be active on their phone and then, a user journey from, viewing an ad to actually placing that bet while they're consuming the game in play is going to be a huge driver for some successful companies. You have your SEO and your display ads and whatnot. And some of the things, Alan, that you're doing to drive UA to some of these operators is really where I think some of the success is going to be. Completely agree, and I don't know if that's solely on the brand. I think it's on the brand choosing the correct technology partner. How are we going to onboard customers, in the most efficient way to make sure that we're not dropping anybody out of the funnel, to make sure that conversion rates are high. And the amount of clicks or the amount of time it takes for a user to, enter that funnel to be placing, their first bet and depositing in between time. It's really going to drive that. Yes and no. I think, the acquisition and the retention teams need to be working hand in hand on a lot of these things. I think, you'll see, completely disjointed teams where, an acquisition offer is running over here and even the customer service team that's, fulfilling these offers for customers who are hitting that friction point. They're not able to get through. And then, once that customer is, how do you keep them engaged? Are there drip nurture campaigns that are going to say, Alan, I saw you registered, 20 days ago, you still haven't, made your first deposit. How do I convert you? Are there escalated offers there? Are we working collaboratively to keep the user engaged and to keep them through that sporting calendar that we discussed from September to through the end of baseball season? I think some operators are handcuffed to what they can do. I think there's a lot of manual, posting and crediting and whatnot that they'll come up with these great ideas on how to acquire a customer, how to keep them, engaged, but actually operationally keeping them engaged is a really tough and a pain point for them. Segmentation's key there. You can't just shotgun blast, a single offer across, all of these different demographics of players or customers of yours. And that kind of touches on personalization. And you said, if you acquire a customer via mobile, then you should be sending them a mobile offer, SMS or push. If you acquire a customer, on web, you should be sending them, an email or some sort of web interstitial there. You need to be able to segment that customer base and then deliver to them, bespoke offers and bespoke, offerings for them. I think, some of the early adopters here in the US that, first to market kind of cast that huge net and really, they're delivering everything to everybody, and it's not going to be successful in the long term. Everybody's in this bucket of, deposit X, get Y, do X, get Y, get a free bet, get a risk-free bet, best odds guaranteed. I think, a lot of customers, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. A casual bettor doesn't know -110 from -150. They want to get a bet down on the spread of their, their neighborhood team or, their favorite team. They like a specific player. They want to get a bet down on them. And they want to know that they're going to win. They're going to want to know what they're winning, or what they're opting into up front. And I think, a lot of players, Alan, Simon, you've touched on it, where, they really didn't know what they were getting into. Oh, they saw $1,000. That was the hook. Now they're on the website. They've committed, a minute or 2 minutes of their time to register, get through the funnel. Now they're entering their payment details, and they're like, wait, there's a rollover on this. What are the terms and conditions? This almost seems too good to be true. What am I doing with this operator? I was going to say those customers that are, they're novice, and then, they finally do complete the offer of what you're asking of them. And then, they reach out to customers or they shoot an email live chat and they say, where's my bonus? And then they get hit with you'll see that within 72 hours. And now there's a manual, process for a marketing coordinator to, run some sort of query to then manually upload that. And then, some people get, they fall through the cracks. One of the things that we prided ourselves on at FSB is creating these automated bonusing tools to where, our customers can run these offers. And as soon as a customer meets that requirement, they're automatically rewarded, whether that be, casino, whether that be sports, cross marketing from retail to online to retail, back and forth, making sure that the customer is immediately rewarded for what you're asking of them. Number one question you have to ask the brand is, what are your goals? What are the key success factors for you? Do you want to be, do you want to, have the most signups in the first month? Do you want to have, the most actives on your site? Do you want to have, X% of market share? Do you want to have, retention? Do you want to be best margin? Do you want to have best price in the city or, the state or jurisdiction that you're in? Do you want to run zany marketing offers where, you're giving everything away and hoping that, your customer will remain loyal with you? Do you want to have a loyalty system that's going to be integrated in with a brick and mortar property? How do you want to operate? And I think, a lot of, platform providers, I'm not sure if they ask those questions up front. I think you need to understand what are the key priorities for whatever brand you're bringing on board. How do you have, are you having these workshops to kind of, flesh these things out and look at a long-term, relationship rather than, okay, what do we have to do to get the deal over the line for the next 2 or 3 years? You're getting X% of, revenue share, you're getting a fixed fee of Y. It really has to be more of a collaborative effort, at the get-go to make sure that, we're going to have a plan, and then ultimately to the customer.
Great.
You hit it on the head. I mean, you're going to spend money and you're going to spend boatloads of it. Make sure that you have good technology, you analyze what you're doing, and you optimize for that. You optimize for, better player acquisition, but better player retention, because that's going to ultimately set you up for success in the long term. I think, it's a race to the bottom if you're not doing any of those things. If you're just going to blindly spend money and hope that you make it out on the other side, it's probably not going to happen.